All right, Mounce BBG, chapter 13, sentence 5 starts with this phrase, dia tuto. Um, again, I would encourage you every time you see the word dia, the first thing that ought to come into your mind is the phrase because of. We tend to think like diameter or through, but dia with the accusative, which is what we see here, is because of. And I would tell you so often in the New Testament, you see the word dia, just think because of. Mounce makes the argument that dia tuto is an expression meaning for this reason, but I would tell you just as well, if you're just doing it literally and you just go with because of this and treat the tuto as an accusative neuter singular, then you're looking at it going, okay, because of this, what's the difference between because of this and for this reason? Somebody help me, you know. And I'm perfectly happy for you to do it literally and just have your mind wrap around the Greek vocabulary as fully as you can without having to think about expressions if you don't have to, and you don't have to in this case. So because of this is perfectly legitimate. So you got because of this, and then you have second person plural pronoun here. So you've got because of this you or y'all, and of course I would rather y'all go with y'all. But if you want to do you all, that's fine. My suggestion to you is that you get into the practice of translating a second person plural with something like you all or y'all, simply because there are places where it makes a doctrinal difference and clarifies, who he's addressing, and it can be very, very important at times. And simply going with you doesn't help anybody. So once again, a plural like this, I would go with y'all. For this reason, or because of this, y'all, and then uk akuete. So he gives you the verb, but then you notice you have the negation there. So it's because of this, y'all do not hear, is going to be that first clause. That takes us to the second clause, which starts with hati. And hati is one of those interesting particles that you kind of go, well, I understand that it's because or that in most instances. How do I decide? Well, let me tell you how to decide. Very, very easy. When hati is functioning as something like the introduction to indirect discourse, like he said that, he remembered that, he told them that, where it's the equivalent of quotation marks, then you're going to go with that. That is clearly not the case here. And anytime you have some kind of a reason or argument being presented, especially you read Paul, where he's developing arguments and he's basing one argument on another argument, and then you run into a hati, more than likely, because again, it's not narrative where you're talking about people talking and saying things to each other. Again, when you're dealing with a debate or an argument or a reason, then you're going to go with because. So again, I would say if you're dealing with narrative and you're dealing with the introduction of the indirect quotation, that kind of thing, then you're going to go with that. If you're dealing with a reason or a debate or an argument, then you're going to go with because. So here you're going to go with because. So because of this, y'all do not hear, because from God. And again, that genitive might throw you, but what you have to remember is that genitive follows ek, follows the preposition ek. Ek happens to take the genitive. So what you're going to do is you're going to throw out your keyword rule of or from, or of, and you're going to make sure that you just translate it in line with the preposition. So because from God, and then this would be something like y'all are as the verb, and you've hopefully had that form from Mounce just to help you. But again, you have this negation. So because from God y'all are not, if I just read it sort of straight out. Once again, if I read through the whole sentence, then having picked it apart, I'd say, because of this, y'all do not hear, because y'all are not from God.